If you've been following along, you know that we've been trying to find the spark in our game. We started focusing on the bite mechanic, but now we're doing something bolder. We went back to prototyping in a single room. Just basic shapes, moving around with a blank space, movement, bite, enemies, switching. We did something else that was different too. We split up. Instead of designing together, each dev took the same empty sandbox and built their own theory of what this game should lean into. Less alignment meeting, more, okay, show me what you believe. Pedro stress-tested combat and asked the uncomfortable question, do we even need 5 playable characters at once? Or are we overcomplicating something that should be simpler? Emilio stripped things down even further, rebuilding movement in a nearly empty space to see if it feels good before we dress it up. Dave experimented with conditional damage and enemy states, trying to move combat away from hit until it dies. Victor focused on switching, making it intentional instead of just cycling through characters. One room, for instance. And honestly, we had no idea which one would survive contact with reality. While the devs were off building the prototypes, Jordi was doing something way less flashy. He was defining how we judge them. Because you can prototype forever, you can tweak numbers, you can argue about feel, but if you don't decide what counts as fun, what counts as clear, you just spin. So before we showed anything, he built the scoring criteria. Movement has to stand on its own. The bite has to feel rewarding. Failure has to be dramatic, not just annoying. Switching has to add depth, not confusion. If it's just cubes in a room, is it still fun? That was the bar. After a week, we started showing each other what we built. Emilio's movement suddenly had weight. The zombies dragged and turned awkwardly. They bumped into each other. At one point, they accidentally stacked like a weird zombie staircase. And instead of fixing it immediately, we asked, wait, is that actually something? Victor stopped thinking about 5 characters as individuals and started treating them like one organism. Switching leaders changed the formation of the entire group. For the first time, 5 zombies on the screen felt like an identity, not just chaos. Dave's enemies lost their health bars. Instead, you damage them until their brain pops out, and then you group bite as a finisher. It's less attrition, more payoff. Even as cubes, it felt readable. Pedro focused on timing, blocking, countering, switching mid-fight so that the next character arrives defending. It pushed things toward something more reactive, but it also exposed how quickly system can become too context heavy. And that was interesting, because not everything held up equally. At the end of the month, we put everything on the table. We walked through every prototype with the team and our secret weapon, Kainen. And the conversation with Kainen clarified a lot. Some ideas were clearly stronger, movement had weight, formations gave the group a reason to exist, the brain finisher felt satisfying. Even as cubes, certain mechanics had presence, but other ideas only worked when stacked with other mechanics. Some systems felt clever, but didn't survive the isolation, and a few were quietly rebuilding the same complexity we had promised to avoid. That was the real lesson. If a mechanic can carry a room by itself, it probably isn't core. So we stopped asking, can this work with everything? And started asking, does this work alone? That shift changed everything. We also realized something more practical. Our camera was fighting us. Our layouts were noisy. We were solving readability problems that had nothing to do with gameplay. So we simplified again. Cleaner rooms, cleaner angles, less friction between the player and the mechanic. Because if you can't clearly see what's happening, you can't honestly evaluate it. And then there was the uncomfortable question. Do all these mechanics even belong in the same game? Or are we discovering multiple games fighting for space? It changed how we moved forward. Because at that point, the goal wasn't more depth. It was identity. What actually feels like stay dead. Closing beat. So that was month 1. No big breakthrough, no dramatic reveal, just prototypes, tests, a few ideas that survived, and a few that didn't. But for the first time, we feel like we're moving forward with intention. Finding the spark isn't one lighting moment. It's iteration, it's stripping things back, it's testing honestly and being willing to throw things out. If you ever have built games before, you probably recognize this stage. If you have stories about prototypes that almost made it, or ideas you had to kill, we'd love to hear them. Drop a comment, share your experience. We're trying to build this openly. Not just a game, but a space where indie devs can be transparent about the messy middle. And if you want to keep following the journey, follow us on our socials and join our Discord. We'll keep sharing what survives.